Hi, I'm Doug Dedman. I'm the Chief Clarability Officer here at DBM. Let me ask you something. Does your S&OP meeting feel like a report out instead of a decision-making process? If this is the case, the answer may lie in your planning horizon. If sales thinks they can drive the plan out the door next week without understanding next week's capability, you've kind of got a problem. So today, what I'm going to dig into will help to show you how planning horizons can transform your S&OP process, help you engage your senior executives, deliver results, and drive decisions. Now, your S&OP process should be that intersection of strategy and execution. The question is, how far out should you plan? If your horizon is too short, you might be flying blind. If it's too long and without structure, you might be wasting time and people will disengage. To evaluate where you're at, here's a few questions as a quick test. In your executive S&OP meeting, are you primarily focused on the next month's plan, or maybe you're just rehashing what happened last month? Does your plan stop at the end of the fiscal year with no visibility on what happens afterwards? Beyond the first couple of months, is the plan simply the budget with no focus on how you're actually going to get there? Do you find yourself firefighting in your S&OP meetings instead of really planning? If your answer is yes to all or even some of these questions, your S&OP planning horizon probably needs some work. So let's start with my basic rule for the S&OP planning horizon. You should always be planning a minimum of 12 months rolling. Now, why do I say this? Well, there's a few reasons for that. First, a 12-month rolling plan covers seasonality. Think about toys at Christmas or snowblowers in January. After all, I do live in Canada, so you need to see the whole year so you can be planning ahead for any seasonality that might be in the business. Secondly, it eliminates the shrinking horizon problem where executives panic because the plan ends at fiscal year end. You've probably been there too, waiting until next year's budget is finalized, till we can lay out a plan for the next fiscal year, asking one side of the business, usually operations, to wing it until the plan gets put in place. Or worse yet, we run our inventory numbers down at the end of the year to meet target, then wonder why our service levels suffer into the new year. Thirdly, a 12-month rolling plan moves the discussion from the tactical to the strategic. While the 12-month plan may not be completely balanced, it should at least provide management a view of what the business thinks will be happening, the ability to gauge with confidence what the future looks like. And finally, the rolling 12-month plan eliminates or at least reduces the big replanning process for fiscal budgeting. The plan should provide the basis for next year's budget. It will need to be extended out. However, in most cases, at least half the year will already be covered from the S&OP plan. A 12-month rolling plan won't be perfect, but not having it at all is much worse. The beauty of S&OP is that each month you get to rework the plan. It's an iterative process. You can modify the future plan as it gets closer, but you've got to be thinking about it strategically. Now, if you are sitting there struggling to get your team out of dealing with month one, consider booking a clarity convo with us. We can help shed some light on where to get started. You can click the link in the description to get your plan started. Now, 12 months can seem like a tough ask if you're just starting with S&OP. The good news is your horizon isn't just about the calendar. It's based on your cumulative supply chain lead time and the time it takes to make major capability shifts. Depending on what this looks like, your starting S&OP planning horizon might be shorter, or it actually might be longer. So let's start with the cumulative lead time. If your longest lead time component is 5 months, your plan should at least be that far out. Now, for semiconductors, that might mean a year or more. Now, Remember, when you're changing the plan, you're not just moving the finished product schedule, you're moving all its components with it. That's why understanding your bill of material and lead times is critical. At the very least, if you can't get 12 months rolling to start with, cover your cumulative component lead time. Also, consider the lead time it takes to make major shifts in capability. This might be hiring and training new people, or the time to bring additional capability online through capital investment. I've worked on an S&OP process where critical engineering resources in large projects drove a 3-year S&OP planning horizon in order to cover both the tactical and the strategic plans. Now, let's talk about a concept that nobody really likes: frozen zones. Part of any discussion on planning horizons needs to cover this concept. The frozen zone is where you don't change the plan. Now, the difference between a production frozen zone and an S&OP frozen zone is that a production frozen zone is where you freeze both the product mix and the product volume, while an S&OP frozen zone is where you freeze the volume. People don't like to talk about frozen zones because they believe that it kills flexibility. However, freezing doesn't kill flexibility, it protects it. If you're constantly reshuffling inside the frozen zone, you're probably robbing Peter to pay Paul and creating chaos. You can be as flexible as you want, but if you've got 4 months of backlog, you're not really flexible, you're just moving your problems around. Lock down the near term, keep the midterm firm, and allow flexibility in the long term. I would start by locking down month 1. Try and hold the volume firm in the first month. Use your buffers, lead time, upside flexibility, and inventory to hold a volume level production plan level while being able to react to changes to the demand plan. Focus on delivering the commitment to volume in the first month. You'll be surprised that just by doing this, you'll provide stability to move you from reacting to planning ahead. Use the 5-section sheet to present the balanced plan over the entire horizon. This will include bookings, shipments, backlog, production, and inventory. Overlay this with your cumulative lead time and frozen zone. This makes the trade-offs crystal clear and turns your meetings into a decision-making session and not a data dump. So, here's the bottom line on planning horizons. S&OP should be a rolling 12-month minimum. Extend beyond the 12 months if your supply chain demands it. And then define your frozen, firm, and flexible zones. Do these 2 things and your S&OP process will stop being a calendar or monthly exercise and start being the strategic engine to help you achieve your business goals. Book your Clarity Convo today. The link is in the description, and let's make your S&OP process work for you. Thanks for watching today's video. Subscribe to our channel for more on implementing S&OP. You can learn more about how DBM can take your process to the next level by visiting our website, www.dbmsys.com. Thank you and take care.